Hi, I'm Ellen. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're returning, I'm truly glad you came back. About a week ago, I had a panic attack while ordering a sandwich. My voice disappeared, my hands shook, and I walked out without ordering anything. 3 weeks earlier, I'd had to give a presentation at work and felt fine. If you've ever wondered why healing from social anxiety feels like riding a broken elevator, going up, crashing down, getting stuck between floors, this is the story no one prepared me for. Everyone talks about recovery, like it's a straight line, from broken to healed, but nobody mentions the sandwich meltdowns that happen after your biggest victories. Nobody tells you that progress isn't what you think it is. This is the recovery story no one talks about, but the one you need to hear. In the beginning, I thought recovery meant never feeling anxious again. I would imagine a future version of myself who walked through the world effortlessly, confidently, without that familiar knot in my stomach. The early days felt so promising. Every small step forward felt like proof that I was finally fixing what was broken about me. I remember the first time I spoke up in a meeting, the first time I made small talk with a stranger. I felt invincible, like I'd cracked some secret code and would never struggle again. Then came the first major setback, and it knocked the wind out of me completely. A simple phone call sent me into a spiral of panic, and I felt like I'd lost all my progress in a single moment. The shame was crushing. Not just the anxiety itself, but the shame of thinking I was going backwards. I had been measuring my worth by how normal I could act, and every setback felt like failure. What nobody told me was that healing isn't linear, it's spiral. Some days, you feel like you're flying, and other days, you feel like you're back at square one, but you're never actually back at square one. You're just processing the same feelings from a different altitude. I started learning to redefine what progress actually looked like. Progress wasn't never feeling anxious. It was feeling anxious and still showing up for your life. Progress wasn't speaking perfectly in every situation. It was being gentle with yourself when words didn't come. Progress wasn't conquering fear. It was changing your relationship with it entirely. I began celebrating victories that seemed ridiculously small to everyone else. Making eye contact with a cashier became a triumph worth acknowledging. Asking for help when I needed it became an act of courage. Leaving a social event when my energy was depleted became self-respect instead of failure. The loneliness was real. Trying to explain that recovery isn't just getting better, but learning an entirely new relationship with fear. People wanted to celebrate the days I seemed confident and dismiss the days I struggled. But both were equally important parts of my healing journey. I discovered that some days, my social battery is just empty. And that's not failure, it's information. Learning the crucial difference between pushing through discomfort and pushing myself off an emotional cliff became a survival skill. The revolutionary discovery that setbacks aren't going backwards. They're just part of the spiral journey upward. I started measuring progress in moments and micro victories, not months and milestones. The way I breathed differently after standing up for myself in a conversation. The quiet satisfaction of choosing authenticity over approval. The relief of accepting that healing doesn't have a timeline, and that's okay. Recovery became less about reaching some imaginary destination and more about being exactly where I was with compassion. Some days, I'm the person who gives presentations to 50 people. Other days, I'm the person who can't order a sandwich. And both versions of me are healing, growing, and worthy of gentleness. Recovery isn't a straight line because neither is healing. Your worst day in recovery is still infinitely braver than your best day before you started trying. And sometimes, the most courageous thing you can do is be exactly where you are, even if it's not where you thought you'd be by now. The broken elevator is still taking you up. It's just taking the scenic route. Your setbacks aren't evidence that you're failing. They're evidence that you're human. Your small victories aren't too small to celebrate. They're the building blocks of lasting change. Your spiral journey isn't wrong. It's the only way real healing happens. You don't have to be perfect at recovery to be worthy of it. You don't have to heal on anyone else's timeline to be making progress. You don't have to explain your process to anyone who doesn't understand that courage comes in all sizes. Some days you'll soar, some days you'll struggle, and both are part of your beautiful, messy, perfectly imperfect healing story. The elevator might be broken, but it's still moving, and so are you. Trust the process, even when you can't see where it's taking you. Thanks for being here. I hope this helped, even in some small way. If it did, maybe stay with me a little longer. This next video might help even more.